Today marks the start of a new era of Tennessee Titans football as we kick off season number 4 of the series. A new look roster, a new starting quarterback, and potentially new hopes and expectations here for the Titans. Tennessee has been eliminated in the AFC divisional round 2 years in a row. They ended up making some big moves in the offseason, preparing themselves here for the 2026 season, which starts in Santa Clara against the San Francisco 49ers. So the last episode was the NFL draft. In case you missed that one, I'll leave the card at the top right of your screen because it was interesting. We ended up making a lot of big moves. There were a ton of exciting storylines. The Raiders traded up to the number 1 pick to select Justin Tucker. Obviously, the Titans had their big trade up. The other quarterbacks in the first round were Barrett Cherokee and Aram Kachakan to the Jets and Panthers, respectively. And there were some other interesting storylines as well, like Adrian Moore falling nearly out of the top 10. But obviously the biggest one was the Titans moving up to the 5th overall pick to select quarterback ROMEO CALLOCCI out of Oklahoma. The 5th pick was a hot commodity for teams looking to move up for a quarterback. The Eagles got like 6 or 7 offers, but Tennessee's was the best one. The Titans then traded Malik Willis along with a 4th rounder to New Orleans for a 2nd rounder. Malik Willis was a good player last year. He absolutely has positive value, and the Saints are hoping he can be their franchise quarterback. He is on the final year of his deal, which is partly why the Titans looked to move on when they did. Tennessee then used the pick they got for him in a package that included Roger McCreary to send to the Atlanta Falcons for Kyle Pitts, a big-time weapon to add to the offense. Kyle Pitts has been pretty underwhelming the past 2 seasons in Atlanta. They've really focused on building around their top receivers, Drake London and Juju Smith-Schuster. And with Kyle Pitts on the final year of his deal, the Falcons decided that they didn't need him. The rest of our draft class, along with ROMEO, was pretty solid. Amani Ward and Francis Bala can hopefully be nice pieces on the defense, and we added some good depth offensively as well. Before we get any further, I do want to do something about the Buccaneers backfield because they signed like the 3 best running backs in free agency. So I decided to send Javonte to the Cardinals and Elijah Moore to the Broncos, just so things are like even and the Bucs aren't spending all their money on backup running backs. Then I signed some undrafted guys, including Eric Denman, a wide receiver from Oklahoma. The top 2 receivers from Oklahoma last year are on our team with the Oklahoma quarterback, ROMEO CALLOCCI. We had to cut some people as well. Hassan Haskins, probably the most notable of that group. So that positions us here through the preseason. If you don't care about the preseason stuff, I will leave a timestamp in the description to where you can skip right over to our focus of the regular season and our week 1 matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. But if you do care about the preseason, here are some storylines to look out for. Obviously, ROMEO CALLOCCI is the big one. He will play. We're going to have Sekou Bateau play at right tackle. We don't really have 2 starting caliber tackles, so we're hoping that maybe Sekou Bateau can play well. He can play at right tackle, and we can move Evan Smith over to the left side. I really don't like to start my veterans in the preseason. I usually only start young guys, backups, and rookies. So those are the guys who will be playing throughout the preseason as we start with the first game on the road in Seattle against the Seahawks, and ultimately we would end up getting the win 24-22. The Seahawks scored a touchdown at the buzzer of this game, but they missed a game-tying 2-point conversion. It was caught by DK Metcalf. I don't know why he would be in the game in the 4th quarter, but he was. But they missed the 2-point try. It was mainly the Bryson Burns show at quarterback. ROMEO only threw the ball 3 times, completing 2 of them. Micah McDuffie, Christian Watson, and Noah Hampton were among the other starters and standouts offensively. And then the defense was pretty solid as well. That'll bring us to our second game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got a talented young quarterback as well with Sterling Yorkshire, the former national champion at TCU, as Tampa Bay would ultimately get the win 19-16 in a low-scoring, ugly game, just like the weather. Looking at the numbers, ROMEO played a lot more, 13 of 24, 173. He didn't turn the ball over, but he only completed 54% of his passes. I do like the aggressiveness, though, over 7 yards an attempt. Olsen and Byrne played as well. They were both fine. On the ground, we couldn't really run the ball at all. Quinn Crew was the standout at wide receiver today. Deontay Perkins got injured. At first, I thought that was Scotty Pickens who got hurt, and I was kind of nervous. And then defensively, we had some guys play well. That'll bring us to our last game against the San Francisco 49ers. But before that, we have a storyline for a training camp standout, and it's Jordan Ruffin. This is an interesting one. Ruffin is now in his 3rd season. With us signing Trey Hendrickson and Michael Pierce to the defensive line, that should hopefully light a fire under Jordan Ruffin, and it's really now or never with him. So hopefully he can have a big season, and clearly he's taking it in stride, having a great training camp so far. So that'll bring us to our last preseason game against the 49ers, and it's ironic because we're going to play them again in 2 weeks on the road. And ultimately, San Francisco would end up getting the win here. We finished 1-2 in the preseason as the Niners win 25-13. Romeo only threw the ball 5 times. Again, it was mainly the Bryson Burns show. Hot Rod Pryor had a pretty good game. And then defensively, we were solid. Alexander Ekwueme had a great game. He's been very solid throughout the entirety of the preseason. So here's a look at the numbers. Romeo CALLOCCI wasn't bad. He wasn't great. He will be the starting quarterback, however. Nobody averaged more than 4 yards a carry. That's not ideal. Good thing we have Derrick Henry and Elijah Bryant, though. Noah Hampton led the way in receiving, but Quinn Crew led in terms of yards per game. He only played in 2 of the games, but Hot Rod Pryor played really well in that last game, so I'm not entirely sure who's going to be the wide receiver 3, but we're going to give a lot of guys an opportunity for that role. Sekou Pito did pretty good at right tackle. We will have him start there to begin the year. And then defensively, Alexander Ekwueme was the big standout, potentially giving himself some playing time going into the regular season. Even Randy Bullock missed 2 kicks. I don't know why he's kind of mid in the preseason. And then once we get to the regular season, he's Mr. Automatic. So now comes the not-so-fun part. We've got to cut 22 players. We have 14 practice squad spots open. We're going to cut Rocky Olson, meaning there will only be 2 quarterbacks in the building. We're going to carry 4 running backs on the opening day roster, including Micah McDuffie, the 7th-round rookie. I really wanted things to work out with Zaire Patton, but I just don't really have a spot for him, so we're ultimately going to cut him while sending a lot of these young guys to the practice squad. Rookie Noah Hampton will be on the final roster. We're going to start by carrying out, I think, 7 receivers. Mo Ali Cox will be cut at tight end. We're going to rock with 3. As for the offensive line, our 6th-rounder, Kane Cadeau, did not make the final roster. He will be on the practice squad, and we're going to keep 2 guys at each position, so 10 offensive linemen total. As for the defense, we're going to cut the veteran Joseph Osai. We're going to rock with 4 defensive ends. And then inside, we're going to rock with the 3 guys we have. As for linebacker, Holy Diablo will go to the practice squad. An undrafted rookie, Brigham Bell, another Oklahoma guy, will make the final roster. As for the secondary, I think we're going to rock with 5 corners. The top 3 guys along with Harrington and Buare. And then for our last 2 spots, we're going to cut Ronnie Dayton Quinn and Otis Monterey. I wanted to put them on the practice squad, but I was out of practice squad pots. So that'll bring us here to week 1 against the 49ers as we have another scenario with our training camp standout, Jordan Ruffin. I'm hoping he's going to get an opportunity to show what he can do. He's not going to be on the field all the time, but he will be out there probably for around half the snaps. So hopefully he can produce. Let's look at some keys for how we're going to win this opening day game. The Niners are a really good team. Defensively, they're very good. They have a lot of weapons on offense as well. But I really want to focus on setting the tone on the offensive side of the ball. I want to see the offensive line play well. I'm a little bit worried for what's going to happen with Andrew Thomas obviously out the door. Our right tackle, Evan Smith, who was not good last year, is moving over to left tackle. And I want to focus on the run game. I know we have a rookie quarterback making his debut, but we're still a run-first team. We still have Derrick Henry. We still have Elijah Bryant. But obviously, we want to see Romeo CALLOCCI produce. We are handing him the keys to the car right away. There was no battle in camp. I mean, he was the starting quarterback as soon as we signed him to the contract. I don't need him to light the world on fire, but I do want to see some good things. I want to see some flashes, some good throws, and we're just hoping to see some promise with Romeo CALLOCCI, and I'm really excited about him being our quarterback. So I think the goal here is going to be make the playoffs. I don't think it's reasonable to expect a Super Bowl with a rookie, but you never know. Romeo CALLOCCI is a winner. So this is what the depth chart looks like going into week number 1. Sekou Pito will play at right tackle. For now, Quinn Crew will be wide receiver 3, but both him and Hot Rod Pryor will get plenty of playing time. And then this is what the defense and special teams will look like. As for the specialists, there you go. Not too many major surprises. We also have to announce our team captains. 3 of last year's captains, Malik Willis, Fletcher Cox, and I believe Andrew Thomas are not here. So Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, and Cardell Simpson are the 3 returning captains. Our new ones will be Kyle Pitts, Harold Landry, and QB1, Romeo CALLOCCI, named as a team captain as a rookie. So let's now look at our opponent here, the San Francisco 49ers. Certainly a very talented team. And this is a big year for the Niners, who have been a little bit disappointing the past few seasons. It's put up or shut up time for Trey Lance, who's on the final year of his deal. He's currently on the 5th-year option. There were 7 or 8 teams who offered the Eagles for the 5th overall pick to probably draft Romeo, including the 49ers. So clearly they are not sold on Trey Lance. Even though he hasn't been bad, he just really hasn't taken that next step with all these weapons. Antoine, the big play threat, second-year pro out of Rutgers. Deebo Samuel at the wide receiver position, along with some other guys behind him. And then, of course, at tight end, George Kittle. Kittle, Deebo, and Antoine is a nasty three-headed monster. And defensively, they have Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. You can make the argument that these are the two best defensive players in football, and I wouldn't argue against it. They've got some other good players as well. They've got guys like Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead on the defensive line. C.J. Gardner-Johnson anchors a talented secondary, and they've got a good group of young guys with those players as well. So it is going to be a fun game here in San Francisco on the road. The NFL debut for the number 5 overall draft pick out of Oklahoma, quarterback Romeo CALLOCCI leading the Tennessee Titans against a fellow number 5 jersey wearer, Trey Lance, and the San Francisco 49ers, who will start with the football. So we will get a look at this Niners offense first. I'm curious to see how the Titans defense looks today up front with the additions of Michael Pierce and Trey Hendrickson. Tennessee's run defense was very soft last year. The pass rush was very bad other than Harold Landry. And it's going to get off to a good start as the defense forces a quick 3 and out. So now let's look at the offense featuring Romeo CALLOCCI, the number 5 pick out of the University of Oklahoma, the second quarterback off the board in this year's draft. The Titans gave up 2 1s and a second to move up with the Philadelphia Eagles in order to draft him. 3rd and 1, handoff up the middle for Derrick Henry, who barely gets the first down, and Treylon Burks is hurt on the play. That's not particularly good. Romeo's first NFL pass is going to go downfield. It's caught by Scotty Pickens. He's got nobody in front of him. A 66-yard touchdown, and the Titans are on the board. Welcome to the National Football League, rookie. I don't want to sound like the old man on a cloud and take anything away from Romeo's first NFL pass, which goes for a touchdown, but I don't think it was that good of a play by Romeo. It was a good and accurate throw, but I don't think it was a great read. As he threw the ball, the safety, Mike Edwards, should have made a play on it. If he didn't have the reaction time of a sloth, he would have. But because he was so slow to react, Scotty Pickens is able to snatch it away and, do what Scotty Pickens does best, and that's run fast. The defense gets another stop, half a sack for Harold Landry and Azeez Ojulari, as the Niners will have to punt it again. So Tennessee will get it back after scoring on their last drive. Romeo CALLOCCI's second NFL pass will be dropped by Kyle Pitts. Not a great first impression for Pitts as he kicks off his Titans career with a drop. Pitts, of course, only has 1 year left on his deal. He's a free agent next year. 3rd and 5. This time Pitts holds on to it. Good throw by Romeo CALLOCCI as it goes to the 41-yard line for a gain of 19. That was a good read and a good throw by the rookie. 3rd and 9, short pass is caught by Christian Watson, fighting his way forward for a first down. Watson could see an increase in snaps with Treylon Burks' injury, as he will be out for the remainder of the game. Look at Romeo move. He's got some wheels. He's not quite as fast as Malik Willis, but he is very mobile. He ran for over 1,000 yards as a junior at Oklahoma before he ran it less last year. Nice throw over to Kyle Pitts, who gets it to the 6. Romeo's having himself a nice drive. 1st and goal. It's a pitch over to Derrick Henry, who loses 3. Nick Bosa with the initial hit, and then Dre Greenlaw finished him off. While Romeo CALLOCCI looks really good, the Titans cannot run the ball at all so far today. Bryant goes backwards. He loses a yard, wrapped up by Javon Kinlaw. So it's 4th and goal at the 2, and the Titans are only going to kick the field goal. I didn't want to go for it because, for one thing, the run game's been abysmal so far, so I don't trust the team to get 2 yards on the ground. And then 2, I don't want to put too much on Romeo's plate. He is a rookie. I don't know if we can trust him yet to make a good play on 4th and goal. The goal of this drive was to make it a 2-score game, so let's just play it safe, take the 3, and it's now 10-0. The Niners have it back. 2nd and 7. It's intercepted! Asher Gonzalez, the linebacker, picks it off. And this game has gone quickly downhill for San Francisco. Their offense has been garbage so far. Trey Lance was under pressure, throwing it into the middle of nowhere. He panicked, and Asher Gonzalez makes a great play on the football. The Niners look horrible so far, while Tennessee leads 10-0 through the first quarter. And hey, they're about to extend their lead. The Titans have 150 yards of total offense so far, while the Niners have -2. 2nd and 3. Nice pass to the sidelines for Kyle Pitts, who gets it to the 3. Oklahoma's offense was about passes up the middle of the field, yet Romeo's going to the sidelines early, which is honestly pretty encouraging. On 1st and goal, Elijah Bryant, the second-year pro out of Florida, punches it in for the touchdown, and the Titans lead 17-0. Tennessee looks very good, while the Niners still do not have the first down yet. Trey Lance will finally change that here as he completes his first pass of the day to Deebo Samuel. Following play from the 40, will this be the drive where San Francisco's offense finally wakes up? Trey Lance looks for the sideline. It's caught by Darius Slayton. And now the Niners are starting to move it down the field. It seems like they're finally starting to do something as Dior-Antoine makes a nice cut to the left side, and he is gone. We saw those types of runs throughout his college career at Rutgers. This kid is an explosive, dynamic playmaker who struggled early as a rookie, but really got better as the season went along. The Niners are on the board as it's now 17-7. CALLOCCI connects with Hot Rod Pryor, fighting for extra yardage. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the receivers after the catch so far for Tennessee. They're really fighting to get these first downs. Romeo on 3rd down connects with Scotty Pickens, who's left wide open up the middle, as Romeo CALLOCCI continues to look very impressive in his debut. 9 for 11, 162 yards. Really looking sharp as he is sacked by Nick Bosa for a loss of about 10. So that'll make it a 3rd and long here, under 3 minutes left to go in the half. CALLOCCI's going to look downfield for Pitts, but it is broken up in the secondary as Rashid Yusuf, the rookie, is injured. He had 5 sacks in the preseason. Talented defensive tackle out of Kentucky. The Titans would elect to punt it rather than go for a 56-yard field goal, and it's a pretty darn good punt as it'll be down by Caleb Farley all the way at the 6. What a punt by Jeffrey Walker. So the Niners will start with rough field position, but they can make it a one-score game on this drive. It's going to be a jet sweep over to Deebo Samuel, who loses 4. Wrapped up by Kevin Byard, coming in off the safety blitz. Byard playing on the franchise tag this year. 2nd down, it's a handoff for Ty Davis-Price. He doesn't get much more as Michael Pierce is hurt on the play for Tennessee. It's like Fletcher Cox never left. So with Michael Pierce, the free agent signing, injured, that's going to mean that Trey Hendrickson is going to get more snaps inside, and you're going to see more Jordan Ruffin as well, possibly some Francis Boa-Kamoa action as well. On 3rd down, Lance fires a dart for Zion Montgomery. Trey Lance has looked pretty good here in the 2nd quarter, as that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. The Titans dominated through the first 12 or so minutes of the game, but San Francisco is starting to figure some things out, and they're making this a ball game. On 1st down, Lance goes back to Montgomery, hit hard by Asher Gonzalez. The Niners are moving quickly. Lance on the run, passes tipped twice and caught by Kittle. What a play by San Francisco. George Kittle at the right place at the right time. Brandon Miller better be taking some notes. The ball was tipped by the receiver, then tipped again by Awuzie, and it lands right in George Kittle's lap. 2nd and goal now at the 5. Lance looks to throw it. He's going to scramble with it and take it himself for a touchdown. What once looked like a blowout is now just a 3-point ball game. The Niners are quickly putting themselves back in it as it's 17-14. The Titans don't have a lot of time left, but it looks like they will try to score before the end of the half as CALLOCCI goes downfield for Kyle Pitts, who's tackled out of bounds at the 32-yard line with 8 seconds left on the clock. So now the question is, do the Titans go for the field goal, or do they try to be aggressive and keep going? With all 3 timeouts, there's no reason to not keep pushing. CALLOCCI up the middle, gets it to Hot Rod Pryor, breaking tackles, gets it to the 4 with 2 seconds left on the clock. So do you go for it, or do you kick the field goal? Coach Zebediah Phoenix has decided to be aggressive. He's going to keep the offense out on the field. CALLOCCI's going to call an audible. He trusts himself to make a play here. Final play at the half. CALLOCCI's pass is caught by Pickens, but it is out of bounds. No score for the Titans, and that'll wrap up the first half. 17-14. The Titans were dominant in the first quarter, but San Francisco's really made this one interesting, and it's anybody's game going into the second half. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the NFL, taking a look at some of the other games going on here at the late 4 o'clock slate. We'll start in Denver. It used to be let Russ cook. Now it's let Russ hand it off to Cook. Dalvin Cook, the big trade deadline acquisition, scores in his first game as a Bronco. They currently lead the Houston Texans 14-3. It looks like it could be another year towards the bottom of the standings for the Texans, as they do not look great on either side of the ball. In Los Angeles, we've got a high-scoring game so far with the Chargers and the Giants. Justin Herbert looking pretty good for LA with this awesome touchdown pass to Quentin Spencer. However, it is the Giants currently on top with a big start from quarterback Tua Tagovailoa as they currently lead 28-10. It was 28-3 before that last-second touchdown by the Chargers. Tua looks very good so far for New York. And finally, the NFL debut for Justin Tucker, getting the start in Las Vegas. It's been up and down for him. He's had some really good throws, such as this beautiful touchdown pass to John Vincent, the first of his career. Tucker has also been picked off twice so far in the first half, but we've got ourselves a ball game, 14-14 here at Allegiant Stadium between the Raiders and the Cowboys. Dallas has a big year in front of them. They were very disappointing last year. They did not make the playoffs and were just not good after the year prior. They had, won the Super Bowl. So as we go into the second half, I think we're in a good spot. We're only up by 3. There's been some positives and there's been some negatives. On offense, we have not been able to run the ball at all. But despite that, ROMEO CALLOCCI still looks awesome. We got to get the ground game going, though. If we do, then our offense is virtually unstoppable if Romeo can play at 75% at this level. Defensively, we started off hot. Haven't been as good since. DR Antoine's making plays. Trey Lance looked like a completely different player from the first quarter to the second quarter. So I do think the Niners have some momentum, but they were so bad in the first quarter, I just don't really know if you should trust them. 3rd and 8, CALLOCCI with a nice throw up the middle for Scotty Pickens. Romeo's throwing to every area of the field. Down the field, up the middle, short, to the sidelines. He's doing it all. The run game, however, is doing nothing. Here's Eric Armstead forcing a loss of 2 on Elijah Bryant. Neither Bryant or Derrick Henry have gotten anything going today. CALLOCCI on 3rd down goes short for Quinn Crew. Good play. He took his time. He didn't force anything, and he ultimately found Crew open for the 1st down. 2nd and 5. Here's Elijah Bryant. Finally, a nice run to the 1. Would have been nearly his 2nd touchdown of the game, but he was not able to punch it in. Following play, 1st and goal. It's a read option. Romeo calls his own number. And QB1 is in for the rushing touchdown. Call your number, Cinco. ROMEO CALLOCCI on the read option gets his first NFL rushing touchdown as he is untouched into the end zone. And Romeo continues his awesome NFL debut as the Titans lead it 24-14. That was a long drive, too, nearly 6 minutes. And then on 3rd down, it's Trey Hendrickson into the backfield with half a sack. Harold Landry there as well. So the Titans are looking great here in the 3rd quarter on both sides of the ball, trying to keep it going. Romeo up the middle. It's dropped by Hot Rod Pryor. That was right in his hands. Another really good throw. So the Niners get it back. Trey Lance on 1st down is sacked again. Alexander Ekwueme, the 2nd-year defensive tackle out of LSU with the sack. Ekwueme was great in the preseason, and so far it's carried over today. He looks quite good. 24-14 your score. Tennessee leads going into the 4th quarter. We'll see if the Titans can hold on and finish off the job. 2nd and 16. Wide open is Deebo Samuel on the wheel route. He'll get it all the way to the 50, wrapped up by Juan Thornhill. Trey Lance, I think, was 0 for 4 in the 1st quarter. He is 12 for 13 since, but he's had no time to throw it recently. Trey Hendrickson with another sack. Hendrickson's addition makes this defensive line look so different. Last year, the pass rush was just Harold Landry, but having another guy there is really making things work. Landry and Hendrickson with half a sack again on 2nd down, and it is now a 3rd and 29 for the Niners. San Francisco's offensive line is imploding. Trey Lance looking downfield. It is caught by Samuel, but he's not able to get much. Good coverage in the slot by Caleb Farley. What do the Niners do here? I assume you got to kick it. It's a 52-yarder. Certainly not a guarantee, but a very makeable kick to make it a 1-score game. It is up, and it is good. Barely, but still good. So it's now 24-17. It's back to a 1-possession game. Can ROMEO CALLOCCI help the Titans ice it? CALLOCCI on 1st down. Goes short for Hot Rod Pryor, who makes a nice play after the catch. Pryor had the big drop on the last drive, looking to avenge himself, and that's one way to do it, as he brings it to the 40. Pryor with 6 catches and 84 yards today. He's been highly productive. 3rd down, good throw into the hands of Quinn Crew. CALLOCCI got the ball out quickly, and he got it out to where Quinn Crew would be able to catch it before anybody could hit him. 3rd down and 9, now at the 20. CALLOCCI calls for an audible. Romeo threads the needle perfectly for Kyle Pitts, who is in for a touchdown. What a play by Romeo CALLOCCI. He has made 0 mistakes today. That is so unorthodox for a rookie. He looks like a 10-year vet out there, perfectly calling the audible. He makes a risky throw with 4 defenders basically in a square, and Kyle Pitts is in the middle of the square. That's exactly where the ball ends up, and Pitts does a nice job of finishing off the play for a touchdown. We got to look at this one again. Just perfect accuracy from Romeo, and Kyle Pitts has made a big-time impact to this offense so far. 31-17, the Niners are in trouble with just under 4 minutes to go. Lance on first down, goes downfield. It's caught by Zion Montgomery, who burns Simpson, and is wrapped up out of bounds by Juan Thornhill. San Francisco's got to move quickly, though, as it is a first down from the 43-yard line. Trey Lance looks to throw it with no time at all. He is sacked again. Harold Landry continues to just be absolutely dominant. Last year, he was a one-man wrecking crew. This year, with Trey Hendrickson here, it has completely opened things up, and Harold Landry's making even more of an impact as he's now in the zone. Lance is incomplete on third down. Good pressure again by the Titans pass rush, who's been dominant in the second half. This is a night and day difference defensively up front from last season. 4th and 8, Niners got to go for it, and they do get it as George Kittle brings it to the 25. That'll keep the drive and thus the game going for the Niners. 2nd and 10, Lance rolls out to the right. I don't know why he decided to throw it to Montgomery. That didn't really make sense as he loses a yard. Wrapped up by R.J. Robinson, the second rounder a year ago. Finally a full-time starter on this defense, and it is now a 3rd down for San Francisco. Lance under pressure on the move. His pass is dropped by Chidobe Awuzie. Should have been an interception. So now it's 4th and 11. Game basically on the line for the Niners. Lance takes a shot downfield. It is broken up. Juan Thornhill with the deflection. He was trying to get it to Kittle. So now the Titans can just choose some clock and try to end the game as Derrick Henry gets a first down and more. Henry with blocks down the field. Finally a big run. Derrick Henry's stats are going to look good now. He's done nothing today until a few nice runs there on the final drive of the game. And that's pretty much all she wrote. A really good win here in Week 1, 31-17. Titans start the year off 1-0. I think the biggest takeaway here is that Romeo CALLOCCI is pretty damn good. He made big-time throws. He was accurate. He was consistent. And he made 0 mistakes. He might have had like a couple shaky throws in there, but he was pretty much perfect. This is not what you expect from a rookie quarterback in their debut. Romeo is so NFL ready. He's so polished. That's part of why we liked him so much. And again, it's only one game, but man, I am so optimistic for this team's not just future, but present with Romeo CALLOCCI at the quarterback position, because man, was he impressive. And our run game did nothing through the first 38 minutes of the game. Up until we were chewing clock at the end, we had no run game. So all the Niners had to do was stop the pass, and they couldn't from start to finish. Romeo's official numbers are 20 of 26, 324, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing score. Trey Lance wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. We did not run the ball well. I know Derrick Henry averaged 5.5 yards a carry, but he was not great. Neither was Elijah Bryant. The fact that both of them struggled makes me think it's more so the run blocking rather than just one of them in particular. As for the receiving game, Hot Rod Pryor and Kyle Pitts stood out for us along with Scotty Pickens. Certainly want to get Bryant more involved in the pass game as well. And then the offensive line, at least in terms of pass blocking, was good. And then defensively, wow, I was really impressed. Our run defense was fine. San Francisco didn't even really try to run the ball in the second half. But Harold Landry and Trey Hendrickson, man, those guys are good. 7 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, nice interception by Gonzalez as well. But the big takeaway defensively is that Trey Hendrickson's impact is going to be a big deal. Last year, it was just Harold Landry. He's the only reason why we didn't have the worst pass rush in the NFL. And adding a guy like Trey Hendrickson has opened things up so much. We didn't get a lot out of Jordan Ruffin, though, which is unfortunate, despite him getting more snaps with Michael Pierce getting injured. So hopefully we see more out of him these coming weeks, with Michael Pierce injured, along with Treylon Burks, which we'll get to in a second. Derrick Henry's talking about how we imposed our will on the ground. We did not until the final 2 minutes of the game. We could not run the ball at all. So I don't know what he's talking about, but if it gets our offensive line XP, then so be it. As for our rookie quarterback, Romeo CALLOCCI apparently did not light up the stat sheet according to the reporter. Did the guy not complete 75% of his passes for over 300 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing score with making like 0 mistakes? If that's not lighting up the stat sheet, I don't know what is. The one negative about today's game is that Treylon Burks and Michael Pierce will both miss extended time with injuries. We're going to need Scotty and Pitts to continue to play well, while we're going to need these young guys like Hot Rod Pryor and Quinn Crew to produce. And then defensively, I liked what I saw from Alexander Ekwueme. I want more from Jordan Ruffin and Francis Boa-Kamoa, though, going into these next few weeks. Let's take a look at the scores around the league. There are some interesting results here. The Texans and Jags lost. The Colts won. The Lions, interestingly, dropped 52 on the defending NFC champions, while the defending Super Bowl champion Bengals lost to Baltimore. Clyde Williamson, Patrick Mahomes, Jermaine Hicks, and Tremaine Edmonds win the Players of the Week. So next episode, we've got weeks 2 and 3 on the road in Jacksonville against the Jags. And then we return home against a fun, young Arizona Cardinals team. Hopefully we can keep it going after a great week 1 and after a phenomenal NFL debut for ROMEO CALLOCCI. We could not have asked anything more from him. He was fantastic. So that's going to wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.